Hello and welcome everybody to another Battleground Games Live.
Yay!
We made it, Amanda.
We did.
It's been a busy day for us, but let's introduce ourselves. Hi, I'm Andrew.
I'm Amanda.
And we are Battleground Games Live. Right now we're all of Battleground Games Live because ever since lockdown began, we haven't been able to play with anybody except our friends in chat. So we've played a bunch of games with folks in chat.
Yeah.
But we've also played a bunch of games by
Played
our
Mysterium Park,
Yep.
which is, real challenging.
I don't think we've ever beaten it.
Not legitimately.
It's so hard. We've played a bunch of unlock games. Which are
Obscurio.
great with chat. Obscurio.
Mm-hmm.
We've played...
Dixit.
Yep, Dixit. We've played...
Concept.
Yep. So yeah, we've played a bunch of games with our friends in chat. So we haven't been completely alone. But ever since lockdown, we have not been streaming from the Battleground Games and Hobbies in Abington. So anybody joining us for the first time, welcome. Battleground Games and Hobbies is your friendly local game store in the greater Boston, Massachusetts area with 3 convenient locations. One up in Saugus on Route 1, just past the Red Roof Inn. One down in Norton by the Xfinity Center, and then one sort of midway between the two of them in Abington, Massachusetts, which is where the first Battleground opened almost 20 years ago.
Terrifying.
Isn't it terrifying?
Very.
That's astonishing.
Yeah.
I believe the 19th anniversary is this year, and the 20th is next year, but I could be wrong. I put it in my phone, and my phone is being used for other stuff. So
Yeah.
I don't know if Chatbot is working or not. It halfway logged itself in. Anyways.
Is it quote?
Rand quote.
Rand quote. Well, the random quote worked. But Lobster...
Hello,
Oh, there
Lobster.
it goes. There goes
All right,
Lobster's
so
greeting.
the bot is doing its thing.
Wow, I don't remember saying that, but I do appreciate it.
What is it?
Hey, remember this, Jim? Scrooge McDuck's money pile is a non-Newtonian liquid. That's my TED Talk.
I remember that exact discussion because we were talking about the fact that he can dive into it.
I remember the conversation.
swim
I
in
just don't
it.
remember saying that, and I don't remember what it was in reference to because it was during concept. So I don't remember what specifically we were talking about when I
recall.
had occasion to say something like that. Yeah, it just took a few seconds to do it because you said hello, and then I did random quote, and then it did the random quote, and then it welcomed you.
Whatever. Bot is working mostly.
Good enough.
Good enough. I didn't bring my coffee. My coffee is sitting over there in the kitchen.
Let me go get your coffee.
I can get it.
Okay.
I also wanted to send out a tweet because we're going to be playing some Magic, and I feel like people like watching people play paper Magic on the internet.
People like watching cards turn sideways.
Yeah. So
Turn cards sideways, smash face.
I'm going to mute myself for just a sec to take my microphone off.
And I'll talk about Strixhaven.
All right, give me a sec.
How's that?
Give me a sec. Muting. All you.
I'll just step on your mic and make lots of noise. So we're going to be playing with Strixhaven cards tonight. Strixhaven is the newest standard legal set being released by Wizards of the Coast.
Shouldn't put that there. That's on camera.
Yeah, it is.
Put it over here.
Paint water.
I have not made that mistake yet.
Toshi sent me a link to a store that sells tin mugs that say drink your paint water. And I was like, that's a terrible thing to send me. Anyway, Strixhaven is set, God, I don't remember the name of the plane that it's set on. Begins with an A, it's long, don't care. The point of the matter is, Strixhaven is a school of mages on this plane. But it's not the only thing there. We're very used to sets encompassing the entirety of a plane. You know, when we went to Kaldheim, we were in Kaldheim, you know, that's the plane. When you're in Ravnica, the city of Ravnica is also the plain of Ravnica. We haven't really done a lot of sets that are named a thing and are set on a plane that isn't named that thing, right? Like Theros is Theros, you know, like Kaldheim is Kaldheim, Ravnica is Ravnica, Ixalan is Ixalan, you know, Amonkhet is Amonkhet. So frequently the very first time you visit a plane, you'll be visiting a plane and the name of the set will be that plane's name.
Is this related to Battle Bond? Is it the same plane as Battle Bond? Because the twins are in
The twins are in it, yeah.
Yeah. The twins were also in...
But Eldraine, they're from Eldraine.
Yeah.
So anyway, mages on a plane, yes, very much. So Strixhaven is a school of mages, and it's a very interesting set because there's definitely a lightheartedness to a lot of the sort of wacky school hijinks that would come from a school full of very gifted magic users goofing off. And then it also has this plot taking place in the background where there are mage hunters and some evil entity that has some evil
All right, I'm muting
MacGuffin.
for a sec. I'm going to mute for a sec.
Okay.
Sorry, in olden times, I would have been able to mute independently my microphone and leave Amanda's microphone unmuted, but the controls are out of reach.
Yeah.
So it's easier just to mute both of us simultaneously.
So yeah, there's this magical MacGuffin, the Orcus.
Yeah.
And there's this dude who has the Orcus, and he's trying to tempt students from Strixhaven into his servitude, I guess. I don't know. I haven't read the story yet.
Yeah, I want to read it too. I want to know how Liliana ended up as a professor at
how'd that
Strixhaven.
happen? Anyway, the idea is it's a school of mages. It's got, you know, these 5 different colleges, very much like you would have at a university such as like Oxford or something, where you have a university and then you have multiple colleges that specialize in different things. That's not as common in the U.S., I feel
you
like.
have dormitories, but you don't really have...
Even in universities, you don't really... You see, like, the school of this and the school of this, like School of Social Work or something like that. But if you're an undergrad, you tend to be doing undergrad. You don't see as much undergrad work being divvied up into really separate colleges with their own separate applications.
Yeah.
And like interview stuff. Anyway, Strixhaven is very much, you know, it's meant to be a school that is divided up into sort of 5 specialties. Those 5 schools are Lorehold, which is very much about history and discovery and learning about the past and applying what you've learned to the future.
Indiana Jones would totally be a professor in Lorehold.
Yeah, Indiana Jones would 100% be a professor in Lorehold. And the color identity for Lorehold is white and red. Then you have Quandrix, which is, Andy will be representing Quandrix tonight.
Well, I have a Quandrix pre-release kit.
Yeah.
I believe, so Amanda and I already opened all the cards in our pre-release kits. We'll get to this later. I believe I did not build a Quandrix deck because I wasn't in love with the cards that I got in my
I think you ended up building like a Witherbloom
I think I did.
deck.
We'll see. I don't remember. It's been a week since we opened our boxes.
So Quandrix is the, like, math. Magic through math. Math magic.
Yes, exactly.
It's Donald in Math Magic Land. Isn't that what they used to show at Milton? Every damn year. We had like a very old VHS cassette copy of it that we would have to like trot out once a year for like all of the like. Yeah, there used to be Harvard and Radcliffe, but it's not quite the same. because Radcliffe was like the women's college.
Yeah.
So, anyway, point being,
Quandrix.
each of these has its own specialty. So Quandrix is very much like math and fractals and things like that. And their color identity is green and blue. So
I will say the one piece of flavor they got absolutely 100% correct with Quandrix is, I think any card in the set that has X in its casting value is a Quandrix card.
I think you're right, which is, math.
Yeah.
Then there's Witherbloom, which is about life and death.
Very
and
much. Yep.
Cycle
of life
and the cycle of life and death.
Plants.
And it's black and green. You have Prismari, which are basically the theater kids of Strixhaven. They're flamboyant. They like to make things go boom, and they are a red and blue set. They like a lot of extravagant visual magic.
Yes.
And then there is Silverquill.
Which is what Amanda will be representing.
Well, it's definitely the box I opened. Which are the debate students. They're the debate nerds.
Yeah, I don't know how visible. It's not visible at all. But we have the posters for the teams.
For their teams. Because Strixhaven has a school sport, Mage Tower, that all 5 colleges compete in. And I believe the goal is to capture the other team's mascot. Gathered that through flavor text.
Okay.
Yeah, neat. I still say they should have made banners, like those triangular banners, as promo materials for the stores.
Yeah.
For local game
I can
stores.
understand them not doing that. They only really gave us a poster.
Yeah,
That's
because there's not having
in-store
people come
play
into
going on.
stores. Yeah, but still, it would have been fun to be able to put up those pennants in a window of a store to attract customers to come get cards, and they would have been cheap to make. They don't even have to be double.
Yeah.
Well, you make a graphic that is all of them, and you make them wedges, right?
Point. Yeah.
And then you just have to get someone to print and slice.
Yeah. Later.
Wait an hour.
Sure.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that would have been like a fun thing to have, and I'm tempted to actually make them myself.
Sure.
Because why
make
not?
them for the store. Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I guess you could print them at any printing center.
Yeah. I could have them print them upstairs in the adult department on the big printer and pay for the printing.
Okay.
That's totally doable. Hell, they're printing 20 pages per week for free in color or black and white right now. So anyway, Silverquill are the debate and forensics nerds. They're the ones who do speech team and debate team and stuff like that. And a lot of exposition, lots of declaiming.
Yes.
For Silverquill, they are black and white, which is one of my favorite color combinations to play in Magic. I do love black and white vampires. And just black and white in general. I like black and white Orzhov in general, and that's not necessarily a vampire deck. School for mages, 5 different colleges within that school. Each has a specialty, and the pre-release kits came themed for each school, which they haven't done in a little while.
No, it's been a solid few years since they've done that.
Yeah. They've done it in the past for some of the Ravnica sets. They did it for Tarkir.
Yep. I don't think they've done it since Tarkir.
I don't think
that they did it. Well, maybe they did it for Guilds of Ravnica. I can't recall.
I don't remember.
Anyways, so the way the themed boxes work is you get 5 regular draft packs in each one, and 1 pack that is all in the colors of your chosen guild.
Yeah.
So you have enough commons in your chosen color to sort of help you move in that direction.
Yeah. But in hopes, you can build a deck from the school that you opened. Now, that's not necessarily the case. Like Andy was saying, when he looked through his cards, he wasn't as impressed with the blue, but the black looked really good.
Yeah.
So instead of doing a Quandrix deck, you're more a Witherbloom deck.
I can't recall what I built.
I'm pretty sure that was the case.
So we did sort of go through our cards, and we did sort of think about what we would build if we were going to build decks, and then we put them back in the box and forgot about them for a couple of weeks. Just we've had other stuff going on.
Yeah, we've been doing other things.
So my thought for, before we get to these, is let's open a couple of packs just for opening packs.
Sure.
Crack a pack.
Let's crack some packs.
Let's do like 4 packs. We'll do one. Actually, I've got. Yeah. So we've got set boosters. And we've got collector's boosters. So let's do one of each for each of us.
I think I have my deck here.
You built it already? Ish.
Also, you are wrong. Crackle with Power is a red card, and it's got 3 X's.
Oh, I'm wrong.
I am wrong.
Anyways.
But yeah, I think my problem was I had more cards than I needed. 2, 3, 4.
So I brought the draft land box out, so you can pull some lands, and we've each got some sleeves, so we can sleeve up a 40 card deck, and we can play a game of Magic. But I think before we get to that,
I have 32 usable cards.
Nice.
So I got to whittle that down. It's the first time that's been a problem for me in a while.
Cameras over to here.
Yeah.
So
I do basic booster first.
Well, it's a set booster. It's not.
Well, yeah, but basic
yes.
booster instead of the collector booster.
Yeah, the collector booster is that's the spice. We'll get to those in a moment.
It's so disorienting to look at it from this angle. We need to figure out a solution for that.
Yeah.
It's so disorienting because it's tilted.
Yeah, because it's tilted. If we had a way to mount the camera.
We do not.
We'll be back in the store soon enough, where we have our elaborate rig.
That's right, that Chad made for us.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, just open.
So, big news from our end is that if you've been following us, you probably already know, I got my second vaccination shot last Saturday. So this is your art card?
Yep, it's a blood avatar.
Awaken the blood avatar.
A foil mountain.
It doesn't fit on the screen there because it's wide instead of tall.
Pop quiz, hotshot.
Yep.
Teach by example, resculpt. This is definitely a Prismari pack.
I'm going to zoom this out a touch.
Elemental Masterpiece, Sudden Breakthrough, Explosive Welcome, Practical Research, which has the twins. The twins each research spells to defeat Extus in their own way. Will hit the library. Rowan hit everything else.
Nice.
Neat. All right. Do you want to...
I'm fixing this a little bit.
Okay.
There's her foil mountain. Did you want to show off any of these cards?
You can if you want to.
So
There's
the set
nothing...
booster packs come with a land, which is not always a foil. They come with a lesson. Lessons are one of the mechanics for this set. We'll probably talk about them in a little bit. They come with a couple of commons, but not as many as you get in a draft booster. Couple of uncommons. A rare. There's Amanda's rare.
Yep.
They come with a archive card. The Mystical Archive is unique to this set so far. It's been super popular, so I could see them bringing it back, but it's sort of in the flavor of Strixhaven.
Yeah.
And the Mystical Archive cards are older cards that have been reprinted. They're all older cards, but they have new art, which is gorgeous. They have a new card frame. They're extended art, so the art goes all the way to the edge. Yeah, they're just gorgeous, gorgeous cards. You also, in every one of these, get a foil.
Yep.
So you get at least one foil in every pack. And some of them have a token, which is what Amanda got. She got a pest token, which has on the other side the Quandrix Math Whizzes. But some of them have a list card in the token slot. And the list is another reprinting of older cards, but they look almost identical to their original selves. The only difference is that it has a little planeswalker symbol in the lower left-hand corner.
Yeah. They're fancy.
That's a set pack. Set packs are very nice. They're also themed color-wise. That's why they're not as good to draft. They have more value than a draft pack. They're definitely a better monetary choice, but they don't work for draft because they're generally one particular color or color combination. So my pack that I just opened is very much a Prismari pack. It's got all blue and red cards. So my art card is Strategic Planning. It's the Mystical Archive Strategic Planning. Very pretty. Then I have just a plain forest, an expanded anatomy, which sounds really unpleasant. Prismari Campus is my land. Prismari Pledge Mage, Waterfall Aerialist, Spectacle Mage, Pigment Storm. I actually really like the flavor text on Pigment Storm. Pigment Storm is obviously a Prismari card. When art projects collapse, Prismari students revel in the beauty of destruction. Everyone else runs for cover. And the illustration has stuff falling out of the sky on students. And I got my uncommons: Test of Talents, Mentor's Guidance. My rare is an Ingenious Mastery. My Mystical Archive. Oh, well, hello there, Mr. Mystical Archive.
Oh.
Is a Dark Ritual.
Nice.
It's a classic. It's a way to get more black mana with a black mana. Basically, spend one black mana to get 3. And it's an extremely popular card. My foil is just a common Excavated Wall. And then I got a Magic mini game. I actually really want to play this Magic mini game. This is Dominarios. Dominarios. Basically, in this Magic mini game, you're matching your cards to each other to see how small a grid you can make. So I really want to try this. It's a one-player Magic mini game. They've been printing these little Magic mini game cards as part of the Mystical Archive, or as part of the set, and they're very fun. Shall we open our fancy packs?
Yes, we should.
Do you want to start?
Yeah. Sorry, I was trying to whittle down my...
Yeah. So in sealed draft, any sort of limited play that you do with these packs, you can use the Mystical Archive cards. You can put those in your deck, and some of them are super good.
Yeah.
Also, let's talk a little bit about Lessons and Learn. So Lessons are a special type of card. You can put them in your deck and play them like normal, but you can also put them in your sideboard, and you'll have cards that let you learn. And when you have a card that lets you learn, you can either take a lesson from your sideboard and put it in your hand, or you can draw a card.
Yeah.
Both perfectly good options. So in a sealed event like this, where we have 6 packs that we're working with, we can build our 40 card deck and put all our lessons on one side, and then during the game, there's the possibility that we'll grab one of those lessons that fits the particular moment we're in. So that's great in sealed. Battleground did a bundle rumble last Saturday, and that is like the perfect occasion to mess with lessons.
All right.
Okay, so fancy packs. These collector packs are so good.
My foils are Combat Professor,
Bunch of common foils.
Relic Sloth, Pop Quiz, Pilgrim of the Ages, which is very pretty in foil, Prismari Campus,
Okay.
Honor Troll, like the honor roll,
But it's a troll.
Honor Troll, yeah.
Okay. That's an uncommon.
Spell Satchel,
Okay.
Inkling Summoning,
That's a lesson.
Gnarled Professor.
I love the Gnarled Professor. I'm going to show that one off. That's a rare foil that Amanda just drew. Look at that. It's a Treefolk Druid. Love it. And the foil's gorgeous too.
Yeah. Surge to Victory is a commander card.
Nice. So this is an extended art commander card. So this is a commander card. This is from the 2021 commander decks, which are all set in Strixhaven. You can tell that it's not a normal Strixhaven card because it's got the commander symbol there instead of the scroll. But this is extended art, so it's only available in the collector's packs. It's the only way you can get it.
Mavinda, Student's Advocate. This is a mythic, rare, legendary creature, bird advisor for 2 and a white. Flying. For 0, you may cast target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard this turn. If that spell doesn't target a creature you control, it costs 8 more to cast this way. If that spell would be put into your graveyard... Oh, hey!
The raid! Thanks for the raid!
Hi, thanks. Welcome. Blame Brian.
I blame you, Brian, for this raid.
Yeah, that sounds about right. We do have a Brian we can blame on.
There's a few Brians we could blame.
Definitely. If that spell would be put into your graveyard, exile it instead. Activate only once each turn.
That seems good, and it's extended art.
Hey, Swooby, how's it going?
Extended art mythic. Oh, and a follow. Thank you, Brian.
I saw your new name in Pie's stream.
Oh, it's Swoovy?
Yeah, that's Swooby.
Okay.
You said it was when you were really, really sleep deprived at 3 a.m. And then you have to wait like a week before you change it again. It'll happen.
Yeah.
I have a Japanese card. I forget what that is, but I've looked it up before.
So this is another thing. Oh, this is an etched foil. Oh, so gorgeous. The collector's packs
2 months
have Japanese alt arts.
So pretty.
So this is a mystical archive card. Amanda and I can't read Japanese.
No.
So, we'd have to look it up to see what it is. Yeah. But look how gorgeous the alt art Japanese cards are. You can get these in Japanese packs or collector's packs. But they're not available in regular Strixhaven packs.
All right. Compulsive Research.
That's a rare mystical archive. Very pretty.
Defiant Strike.
A foil mystical archive. Yeah, very, very nice.
And Lightning Helix.
A foil rare mystical archive.
Sure is.
Man, gotta love these collector's packs. Let's see what I get in my collector's pack.
Yeah.
What's Swoovy saying in chat? I can't read it from here.
30, 40, 50. Oh, I can add 3 more back. Should move the mic a bit. We are both mic'd.
Yeah. Is it too loud, too quiet? I can adjust it.
It says you can only hear it in one ear, in his right ear.
That may be...
Lobster is hearing in both ears.
Yeah.
So that may be on your end, Subi. I know you said it's not a problem on your end, but like each of us are mic'd separately.
Yeah.
And they're lapel mics.
Okay. Anyways, my pack, my common foils.
Yeah, that's weird, sweetie. I don't know.
Are Spectacle Mage, Serpentine Curve, Spiteful Squad, Spring Made Servin, or Curvin, we haven't decided. I think it's Servin. Novus Dissector. I opened a collector's pack the other day that had only one common in it, and then a pile of rares. So these things are inconsistent. Anyways, or it had a pile of uncommons. I have a clever Lumimancer, Lorehold Excavation, those are my uncommons. A Foil Lesson, it's a common. Expanded Anatomy. My first foil rare is a Manifestation Sage. Pretty. I have an Extended Art Commander card. Bold Plagiarist. Not a fan of plagiarists, but I guess that's why he's black. Accomplished Alchemist Extended Art. I do love the extended arts. A mystery card. I think this is Village Rites. My etched art, my etched foil Mystical Archive.
Oh, so
is
pretty.
D-Spark.
So pretty.
I have a foil Strategic Planning Mystical Archive. I have a foil Extended Art Conspiracy Theorist, which is just a rare. And then I have a Spirit and or Inkling token. So those were our collector's packs.
You hear background noises through both ears, but only voice through your right ear.
That's very strange.
It's not balanced. It's stronger in your right ear, but some is coming through the left side too. I wonder if one of our mics is dead or like not connected.
Take a look at the board, at the big board. Let's see here. Oh, yep. Mine is, well, there. Am I coming through both ears now? I think I was panned over to one side. I must have hit it when I was cleaning up. Anyways.
Nope, still one ear.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, Amanda's leaving up her deck, so I guess it's time for me to see what I've got in my box. I can't remember. I honestly can't remember. I did separate stuff, so some of these cards must be cards that I wanted to play with.
I very carefully put mine in different divisions. Right ear is about twice as loud as the left. I don't know. Andy, would you say something?
Something.
Huh.
Does it look?
No, there was a light going off on one of them, but now it's not lit.
Yeah. What do we got here? Let's gain. I am panned over. There we go. That may be a little.
You can call me whichever. I tend to go by Amanda when I'm like on camera. When I'm off camera, I use my handle. one of the reasons why I've been going by Amanda on camera is, one, because a lot of people know me outside of streaming. And the other thing is, when we read the Darkest Rising books, my name comes from the Darkest Rising books. So there is a character named Merriman in those books, and he's a rather main character, so.
All right, I think I remember what I was doing here. I have my lessons separated out, so I'll put those over to one side.
I don't think I have enough learn to really worry about that.
Yeah, I don't recall. Don't recall. All right, so these are the cards that I have to play with. These are tokens and stuff.
So I've had a couple of different usernames online. One I made up when I was like 13. I do not still use that one for most things. I transitioned over to Merriman several years back. I do still have an email address with that name, and that email address is pretty much exclusively used for communicating with friends and family these days. Everything else goes to my more public email. I also have a professional email that is not for my workplace, but is it's just my name basically, because I am a union rep. And sometimes you want to have a conversation with coworkers, not in a email forum where someone could do a Freedom of Information Act request on it, which our emails are definitely potentially subject to. So yeah.
I feel like I need to cut some stuff. I've got too many cards here in front of me.
23. Amanda the Librarian, totally not sketchy website.us, People's Republic of Cuba. Exactly. How'd you know? Yeah, I have my workplace email. I have a professional non-workplace email, and I also have.
This is a ridiculous number of spells here. All right. What do we want to keep, and what do we want to get rid of? Seems good.
It's not a bad rundown.
We'll take those out. That seems weird.
Well, I've got the campus. My library email is librarian@yahoo.com. Don't I wish? Back in the day, when I got my very first email address, my first email address was for a local ISP called The World. And
world.std.com. That's right. I remember that.
No, it's librarian. God, okay. You know what? That's it. Out. Do you know how many times I have to hear that word normally at work mangled that way? So frequently.
12 creatures? That seems light.
5.
Don't think I need multiple Zephyr boots.
So, Smoothie, I'm going to tell you a story. Many years back, I was working on the desk. I was alone in the children's room for like a meal break. You know, my coworkers were at dinner. And I had this woman come in with
sideboard those.
two girls, two like middle school age girls, and they asked to use a computer. Okay, yeah, fine, no problem. So I set them up on a computer. I asked if they needed multiple computers. No, just the one. Cool, fine. So all three of them sort of clustered around this one computer. And probably every 2 minutes or so, the girl at the keyboard would go, I got a question. And the mother would go, she's got a question. And then her friend would go, she's got a question. The fact that I was alone on the desk and had like a line of people waiting to be helped did not faze them, even remotely. So I would say, okay, I'll be right with you. And then I'd go over and, you know, ask them what they needed. And inevitably it would be something like, how do I get to the next line? It's like you hit enter. Oh, I wasn't sure if that worked on this computer. You know, it was stuff like that. They were all these sort of like very basic questions that sometimes common sense would have answered them. And they were using Word. So they were typing into a Word document. And that's fine. I think I did not give myself enough lands.
All right, I think this is my deck.
Not.
I need lands now.
They got a question though. Yeah, exactly. And it went
wait a second.
On like that. So it was real,
13,
and
14, 15,
you
16,
don't
17,
know
18,
it,
19, 20,
but
21, 22, 23.
You
Perfect.
Just gave the punchline to the story. So, after about half an hour of this, the girl raising her, I got a question. She's got a question. She's got a question. She's got a question. Excuse me. She's got a question. She's got a question. She needs your help. So I was like, I am helping the person in front of me. I will be with you in a moment. So I get up, I go over, say,
I need lands, please.
Yes, I need to get one more swamp. And I say, okay, what can I do for you? And they go, how do you spell Noring?
Oh, right.
And my brain sort of stopped because this isn't like a brag or anything, but I was kind of fresh out of college. I was going to grad school. So the SAT, yeah, exactly. The SAT was not that far in my past, and I got an 800 on the verbal SAT. I have a good vocabulary. 14. And I know this, and I try to tailor my vocabulary to who I'm with so that I'm not like constantly using words that are definitely not words that people know that I'm around. There's nothing wrong learning a new word, but you don't want to constantly be using, $10 words when you don't have to, because it's just off-putting. So I hear them ask, how do you spell Noring? And I'm like...
Spell what?
It's a word I don't know. How do I not know this word? How do they know a word I don't know?
I mean, it could have been an Urban Dictionary sort of thing.
So I was like, I'm not familiar with that one. Could you use it in a sentence? Or I was like, could you, tell me what does it mean? And she goes, Noring, Noring. And I was like, doesn't help me. I was like, okay, can you use it in a sentence, please? She's like, well, when your little sister's, bugging you, she's being Noring.
Yeah.
So I said, that's annoying. And I spelled it for them, and then I walked away.
That was, yeah, you're right. That was right when you had just started working at the library.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. And that was, a good indicator of what the rest of my tenure at the library was going to be like. Ugh. That's the plural. Yeah, ignoring. When someone's bugging you, they're being ignoring.
So, Amanda, you'll be happy to hear
You
were absolutely right. I built a Witherbloom deck.
I thought you would.
I have no idea if it's a good deck.
I had no clue.
I just sort of threw it together.
I know what archetype I'm building towards, but
yeah?
I'm not sure. It's a library. Maybe find a dictionary. Yeah.
That always bothered me. I will say, I was a very bad speller as a child.
So that's why I don't do this, is because if someone's asking how to spell something as opposed to what it means, a dictionary is actually really difficult, because if you don't know how to spell it,
how do you find it in the dictionary?
It maybe ignoring to them, they're going to go look up N-O.
Yeah, they'll never find it.
And there's not going to be a word there because they've got it completely wrong. So that's a problem right there. I'm more irritated when someone asks me something that I obviously am going to have to look up when they're sitting at an internet-capable computer and it's a basic Google search. My favorite example being someone who has repeatedly asked me for zip codes, not in our city. He's like, hey, what's the zip code for Somerville? And I'm like, I will look that up. And he's like, oh, you don't have to look it up. And I'm like,
I don't just know it off the top of my head.
Well, I don't just know it. He goes, oh, I thought you would. And I was like, why would I just know the zip code? I don't work in a post office. I work in a library. Like, I don't have that stuff memorized. There are a lot of people who just think that a librarian just knows everything, not that we know how to find everything, which is a very different skill. No results found. Yeah, librarians are trained to memorize every single zip code. Obviously, I took a whole course in zip codes. You want the Dewey Decimal number for something? I got you. But zip codes? No, I looked that up. There's a website for that. It's the U.S. Postal Service.
It's a Cheers joke that Cliff Clavin, as a party game, will rattle off the zip code for any place.
And just like call numbers, no one else knows what they are, so you could be completely wrong, and no one's going to call you on it. I actually did, when I was in grad school, one of my cataloging professors said, this is a good party trick, is have someone give you a topic and give them a call number for it. And even if you're wrong, who's going to know?
Mm-hmm.
Other librarians, and they also do this party trick and do the same thing. They'll back you up. This is from the same professor who told us that about how the Canadian Library Association once drank Toronto dry.
Oh, right.
They had to go outside the city to bring in more beer to the bars. Yeah.
So in this 40-card deck...
What did you go to college for? Zip codes?
In this
there are probably 5 zip codes in Somerville. Exactly. There are 3 right here in our city.
That's true. Quincy has 3.
So I was like, and I remember he asked me, and I was like, what's the address you're looking for? And he was like, Somerville. And I was like, yeah, the problem being there are multiple zip codes. So you're going to have to give me a little bit more. He then asked me at one point for the zip code for an address on Mass Ave. And I was like, Mass Ave is a long street. I would not be surprised if it passed through multiple zip codes like Hancock does here. Hancock goes through all 3 zip codes in this city. So, yeah, there is a separate zip code for P.O. boxes here too. Because the library's mailing address used to be a different zip code. And I once asked, I was like, why are we a different zip code? And they were like, oh, all our mail goes to a P.O. box. It doesn't get delivered directly here. And I was like, we are literally across the street from the post office, and you're telling me they can't bring us our mail? Come on.
Apparently I have a 41 card deck.
Neat.
Too late to change it now.
Too late now.
I got it
Can
sleeved.
we get rid of this out of
Sure.
the center so
Yeah,
that I
yeah,
can
yeah,
actually see your board without having to look at the screen?
Yep.
Let's see how many cards I have. I should have 40. Let's find out together.
I don't know what happened there.
Did you put in a campus and then give yourself 17 lands?
No. I put in a non-basic land and put in 16 lands.
Hold on. They can't take away our beer if we drink it all. I mean, you know, in Prohibition. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Sorry about the flickering on the screen there, folks. This app sometimes does that.
40.
You're better than I am at this. It's been a while since I've built a sealed deck, I guess.
So long.
Well, that's a lie. We did
built,
that.
We built sealed decks.
We did that draft.
You know.
I will say, Amanda.
Prohibition. No, you know what you do during Prohibition? You just say that this is pure alcohol and you're going to be selling it to make munitions, you know, for the war. And that's fine. All this molasses? Yeah, we're making rum with it. Yeah, what of it? It's to make munitions.
Is that how they did it?
That's definitely what the company that owned the molasses tank that burst and flooded Boston was
that's
doing.
right. That's right. Yep.
They were stockpiling molasses to make rum, saying that they were stockpiling it to distill it for alcohol to sell for munitions.
All right.
It's not vodka, it's water. Yeah, you know what? You can tell the difference when you taste it. It's weird.
I'm going to let the app decide who goes first, I guess?
Sure.
Or who gets to decide who goes first.
Cut me, Mick.
Amanda, you got a 2, I got a 1, so that would be you.
I guess I'm going to be on the play, I think. Do you want to cut me?
Sure.
And sooner or later, it's just water. Yeah, basically. Boop.
Our first game of Strixhaven.
Ah.
I'm looking forward to this. London Mulligan.
Sure.
I'm gonna try this bizarre garbage.
I'm gonna mull. 3 lands, 3 lands, 3 creatures. Creatures are all white. Lands were all swamps.
No.
Yeah, so that's not gonna happen.
Well, the London Mulligan's not so punishing.
Yeah, it's not so bad. No, it's water. Why would that be in my bathtub? Get in the bathtub and absorb some through your skin. No, thank you. I actually don't drink, so. Is it 6 and then scry?
No,
or
it's
7
7
and then I put 1 on the bottom?
Right.
Okay.
If you keep, you choose 1 to put on the bottom of your deck. So it's a little bit better than the Vancouver Mulligan where it was 6 and then scry. Scry if you kept. Man, we're so old, we remember before the Vancouver and London Mulligan where it was just draw 6.
Do this.
Okay.
That seems perfectly logical to me, Swoopy. I am going to put down a silver quill campus and pass.
Okay. So how do the campuses work? They come in tapped always?
Yeah, they come in tapped. You can tap it to add 1 of 2 colors. And for 4 and tap, you can scry 1 with the silver quill. I don't know if that's true on all of the campuses.
Okay. I'm going to play a...
Yeah, there was that thing when I was in
Swamp?
college. There was this, like, idea you could butt chug.
All right.
You could,
Yep.
like, basically just give yourself, like...
A alcohol
a
enema.
booze enema and absorb it through your butt. And I always thought that sounded horrific.
I'm tapping my 1 land, and I'm playing Zephyr Boots.
Okay.
They're not much good because I don't have any creatures to stick them on.
Yeah.
But it's a 1 casting cost, so
Sure.
you may go.
Okay. Oh, well, that takes care of that, doesn't it?
Should have read these Zephyr Boots before I put them in my deck.
Oops.
I read the first part. Equipped creature has flying. Yes.
Yes, like that.
The second part is a little less good for my particular build. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, then discard a card. So you loot, but it's not optional. It's not you may draw a card if you do discard a card. It's you draw a card every time this creature does damage. Anyway, does combat damage to a player. Amanda's tapping cards.
Thunderous Orator.
What's it do?
It's a 2/2 core wizard with vigilance, and whenever it attacks, it gains flying until the end of turn if I control a creature with flying.
Oh,
The
right.
same is
That's
true
right.
for
That's
first strike,
right.
double strike, death touch, indestructible, lifelink, menace, and trample.
Oh, so cool. So cool.
But as it's the only thing I have out right now,
It doesn't have
just
anybody
a
else's
2/2.
abilities.
It's just a 2/2 with vigilance, so.
It's not bad.
Pass.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad thing. That's why I put it out. And if I get other things out, then it gains whatever.
Forest. Tap, tap. Drakengard Elite.
Oh.
Drakengard Elite has Magecraft. Whenever you cast a or copy an instant or sorcery spell, put a +1/+1 counter on the Drakengard Elite. And for 4 green, 4 green, double the number of counters on it.
Oh, thank you, Swoopy. That's very nice.
What's Woofy say?
You guys and the guy Brian who rated are my favorite streamers. I'm counting this in Merriman Lion as the same channel since I have no idea what's going on in the books or board games and you just talk.
Okay,
do we have
that's
a
fair.
P.O. box? We do not. But
But
if,
you can send stuff to Battleground Games and Hobbies.
yeah, if you want to send something, you can send it to Battleground in Abington, and it'll reach Andy. And yeah, that sort of acts as our P.O. box.
It is 1423 Bedford Street in Abington, Massachusetts. And we
Swoopy,
can
thank
put it
you.
in chat.
Yeah,
I think it's 02359.
we'll look it up.
Yeah.
We'll find out. It's on the internet. Is it my
I'm done. Yeah, I just played the Elite. It's a 2/2 right now.
Okay.
Has the potential to get bigger.
Yeah. Swamp.
Okay. Okay. Not attacking with your... Oh, you're
not
tapping
done
cards.
yet.
She's tapping cards, guys.
Oh my god.
I'm skipping her turn. There should really be an emote for that. I do it so frequently. I'm sorry.
423 Bedford Street, Abington, Mass. That's
02351.
that looks like it. Battleground Games and Hobbies.
Yep.
And if you do it like care of Andrew Pegg Wheat, PEGG -WHEAT, it will definitely get to Andy.
Yeah.
All right. I've tapped 3 lands and I'm putting out Inkling Summoning.
Aha.
I am creating a 2/1 white and black Inkling creature token with flying.
Do you need an inkling? I'm certainly have some.
I definitely have Inklings.
Actually, I have a foil one if you want a foil one.
I don't care.
Okay.
I have a whole bunch of them.
Okay.
There. At least 2 more. Which means
It has flying, so now whenever
if
that
that
attacks, it has flying.
which
Yeah.
means now attack phase.
Hit me for 2. Boop, boop.
Yep.
Is it until end of turn?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Cool. That's a thing that happened.
It sure is.
Untap. Draw. I'll play another swamp.
Yeah, he'll figure it. Put it attention, Andrew, and he'll. That way, like, it's not going to be someone in the store opening it up, going, what is this? Why is someone sending us magic cards? Are we getting a collection? Because they do get people who want them to price out their collections. So to make sure that it gets to Andy and Andy knows what it is, just put his name on it. That way, no one else is going to like put it somewhere thinking that it's something that it's not.
All right, I'm going to tap 2 for a Poet's Quill. When Poet's Quill enters the battlefield, learn. I am going to learn into my hand an expanded anatomy.
Okay.
I can equip it for 2, but I only have 1 mana left. And I have my 2/2, but I'm not attacking your 2/1 flyer, so go ahead.
Okay. Yep, that works. Thank you, Swooty. How many cards do you have in hand?
Many. I have 5 left in my hand.
Okay.
Because I kept 7 and I was on the draw.
That's right.
And I just put an extra card in my hand with a lesson.
Dueling Coach.
What do?
When it enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. For 4 and a white, I can put a +1/+1 counter on each creature I control with a +1/+1 counter on it.
Oh, nifty. We're going to have some counters flying now. Do you need me to go grab dice?
No, I got dice.
Okay.
Yeah, my deck does a lot of +1/+1 counter stuff. That's the thing it does.
I thought that mine did a lot of land manipulation stuff, but so far it's not doing that. We'll see.
Gotcha,
happens.
Swooey. Do cards count for media mail?
No.
Sad.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
Media mail is strictly books
and,
and movies.
I'm putting a +1/+1 counter.
All right.
Thunderous Orator.
All right.
Aha! Thunderous.
Move to attack.
Yep. 3 in the air.
Yeah. I take 3. This could be a shorter game than I thought. My turn?
Depends on what you get. Yeah, your turn.
I mean, I've got tricks. But I've only got 1 creature and nothing with flying yet, although I can put my Zephyr boots on it. So I'm going to play a second forest, putting me at 4 lands. And hopefully I can survive this next turn. So I'm tapping 3 to use the expanded anatomy that I just had. Magecraft fires when I cast it. So regardless of whether it resolves or not, I get a +1/+1 counter on here. And then it puts 2 +1/+1 counters on a target.
Okay.
So now this has 3 +1/+1 counters.
Okay.
These are some nice dice you've got, Amanda.
Thanks. I got them from Kraken Dice.
Goes in my graveyard.
No, your mom already sold them all. There might be some more. That's okay, Swooey. I'm sorry she sold them all out from under you, though. My grandmother sold, or threw away, all of my uncle's comic books.
It's horrifying.
We're talking Golden Age Superman from like the early 50s. Yeah.
All right, Amanda.
Yeah. He went to college and she threw them all away.
Moving to combat.
Yeah.
what have you got on the board? You've got your
I've got my flying
3/3
inkling.
flyer, your flying inkling.
Oh yeah, this is vigilance. It's not tapped.
Oh, good point.
It's just it attacked
yeah.
that turn.
So
I have
you
a 2/1 flyer.
Yeah. You can hit me for 7 next turn. That's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to attack anyways.
Do it.
Drakengard Elite swings in for 5.
Does it have trample?
No.
Oh, okay. It's not flying. You didn't put the boots on it.
Nope. It's just 5 damage coming at your face.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Amanda takes 5.
Okay. Thank you, Swoovy. Thank you for thinking of us.
Pass the turn.
Do we accept Pokemon cards? The store does carry Pokemon cards. Would you want any?
So we're not currently selling Pokemon singles, mostly because the Pokemon market is a little bit weird right now. There's been a lot of speculation on Pokemon cards. Yes, I did. Okay. And their values are
all over the place.
Very much in flux. And I feel bad selling Pokemon cards for like $50 that are going to be worth $5 next month. Maybe I shouldn't feel bad about it. Maybe I should just sell them for $50, but that's not.
You know, this card would be better if I remembered anything specific for in my deck.
Ah, aha. It's a name a card card.
It doesn't say name a card on it.
Oh, okay.
It's just a search your library for a card thing.
Oh, well, that seems good.
So I can just look for it.
Yeah, that sounds handy.
You have a $300 Pokemon card.
That's pretty nice. Pretty nice.
Pretty nice.
Is it Charizard?
Are you selling it like on eBay or something? Put it out there. Let someone snap it up.
Yeah, before the values collapse.
Yeah.
I feel like Amanda's doing a thing.
I'm going to play Demonic Tutor.
Ooh! Can I put it on stream?
Yes, you may.
That, Amanda, that is a damn fine Demonic Tutor there. Look at that. That was in your pre-release kit? I forgot that.
Yeah, that was in my pre-release kit.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. I feel like that's the card where you pull it out during a pre-release and someone's like, "Oh, so you made your money back on your pre-release, huh?"
Yeah.
And it's
I
like,
guess.
yes.
If we were going to sell it, which we're not.
And your point being, I'm still playing it.
Anyhow, yeah, you get to choose any card you want out of your deck and stick it in your hand.
I'm going to go look through my deck for a moment.
That's so gorgeous, Amanda.
I love it. It's going to go over here now.
So Amanda's going to be tutoring for a while because
it's a pre-release deck, so I don't know it that well.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know exactly what you're looking for. I have to make choices next turn. I hate having to make choices.
It's annoying. Ooh, that's a potential.
Another 3.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to swing with my Inkling as well. So that's going to be 5.
Oh, your Inkling is flying as well. That's right.
Yeah.
All right, I'm at 10.
You know, you never know, Swooby. Tampons make good blood absorbers for, wounds and such. Never know when you might have to mop up some blood.
Second main?
Second main, pass.
Okay. All right. Now things begin to happen.
Yeah, plug that bullet hole.
Ooh. Oh, that's exciting.
I have read things about when...
Forest?
Speaking as someone who gets a period, before I was on a medication that made my period very regular, like clockwork regular, it could be unpredictable. And so you kind of always had to carry something with you. And let me tell you, if a boy had pulled out a tampon and been like, I got you covered, some girls would have been mortified, but I would have been like, you are awesome. Thank you. Because, yeah, you kind of never know.
All right. I'm probably going to regret this, but I'm going to do a thing anyways. First, I'm going to tap 2 swamps to put my Poet's Quill on my elite.
Okay.
So now it's a 6/6 with lifelink.
Sure. Yeah.
And then I'm going to tap 2 forests to put my Zephyr boots on it.
Okay.
So now it's a 6/6 with lifelink and flying.
Neat. Okay.
And I'm going to pass the turn.
You're not swinging with that big boy?
Not when I have 10 life and you have 3 creatures on board.
Well,
no.
before the end of your turn.
You're going to destroy it.
Eliminate.
I kind of, yeah. I knew.
It was a Mystical Archive card, too. It's very pretty.
Can I put it on stream?
Yep.
So these fall off.
Sorry.
And I just wasted a turn in 4 mana. That was good, though. It was definitely good.
Well, set a tampon. Do you need this? I mean,
Destroy target creature or planeswalker with mana value 3 or less. And it's a 2. Yep.
Yeah, I've been waiting for you to
definitely do the trick. I'm still confused why they changed from CMC to mana value. Anyways.
Anyway.
Pass the turn.
Passed the turn. I will untap all my mana. What are you at?
10? I'm at 10. You're at 15.
Spiteful Squad. It has Death Touch. It's a 0/0, and it comes in with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. When it dies, I can put those counters on target creature I control.
Why did you use 2 dice instead of 1 dice set to 2?
In case I wanted to split. Because it comes in with 2 +1/+1 counters, and when it dies, I can put them on different creatures, so I want to remember.
Sure.
Or on target creature you control.
Yeah.
So you can't split them.
Yeah. All right.
So there.
Fine. I assume you're moving to attacks?
Yeah.
Okay. What happens?
So I am going to swing with my flyer.
It still has vigilance, right?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it does. It also has Death Touch now.
Oh, right. That's right.
Yeah.
That card. Only has Death Touch when it's attacking, though.
I mean, I have a Demonic Tutor if you'd like that. To help teach your demons, calculus or something. Yeah. So swinging with these 2, so that's 5 in the air, and I think I will swing with this one because you don't have anyone
7
up.
total.
So yeah, that's going to be 7.
I'm going to tap my forest and nothing happens and take 7. Okay. Excellent.
That's okay. You know, sometimes these things happen. I am passing the turn. So.
All right, deck. I need some kind of answer here.
Fire off.
I am at 3 life.
Yep.
Yeah. Play a swamp. Tap 4 for Biblioplex Assistant.
Sure.
It's a 2/1 flyer. When
Neat.
it enters the battlefield, put up to 1 target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard on top of your library. Had this happened a couple of turns ago, I probably would have put a card on top of my library, but
Sure thing, Swoovy. Just
right
let
now,
us know.
Right now I am not going to.
Okay.
I am, however, going to put the Poet's Quill on it.
Moving is such an ordeal.
So now it is a
3/2
with
no, we're
lifelink.
Thanks. We also can only have, so our doors are very narrow. So the couch that we have is probably the biggest we could fit into our apartment. We could probably go longer. We definitely couldn't go wider or taller. So what is that right now? It's what, a 3-something?
3/2 with lifelink.
A 3/2 with lifelink. Okay.
Maybe I shouldn't have done that.
Are you passing the turn? Not yet? Okay. I'll wait.
What have you got? You've got
I
a
have
3/3.
3/3 with flying, vigilance, and death touch. I have this flying 2/1. I've got a 2/2 on the ground that I can put counters on. And I have a spiteful squad with death touch that I can put its counters onto something else when it dies.
Right. Yeah, I'm fine. That's my turn.
I mean, it sounds good, but we also don't have a space for another couch.
Pass to you.
All right. I want you to understand that I could have been really mean, and I decided not to. How many cards do you have in hand?
3.
I could have been really mean and done this on your turn, but I decided not to do that to you.
That's very sweet of you.
Okay. I have 6 mana. Dang, not enough to do both things. So we're just gonna do the one. No, you know what? I'm just gonna swing. I'm swinging out. Just
that guy still has vigilance.
Yeah, I know. They all want in on the party.
All right, so I am currently at 3 life.
Probably, sweetie. Yeah.
So
these are in the air.
Yep. So yeah, I'm gonna block your Thunderous Orator.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm taking 6 right now. Uh-oh.
Target creature gets -X until the end of turn, where X is 7 minus the number of cards in that creature's controller's hand.
So I've got 3 in my hand, so it gets -4/-4. Wop, wop. And then I take 8, 9 damage.
Yeah.
-6. I think that's game.
Yeah.
Do you want to try again?
What time is it? It's 9 o'clock. Because we talked a lot.
Yeah.
Stream's at 10.
Yeah. So sideboard.
Let's go through. We can go through our decks.
Sure. In my sideboard, I had ways to take care of flyers. I didn't know if you were going to have flyers.
I definitely had flyers.
So
I was banking very heavily on flyers, I'll be honest.
okay.
So my deck was very largely based on the idea of putting +1/+1 counters on things and then moving them around. So I had a bunch of ways to sort of tinker with that and have it mean things. So like this was, you could put a +1/+1 counter on anything else that had +1/+1 counters on it. Spiteful Squad. So Spiteful Squad comes in with 2 +1/+1 counters, but it would get another +1/+1 counter if I did that ability, which would have given +1/+1 counters to both of these. And then if this dies, all 3 of those can go on to someone else. So yeah, things like that. I had a lot of destruction. I had Fracture. Tenured Inkcaster. When it enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Whenever a creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it attacks, each opponent loses 1 life, you gain 1 life. So that was fun. Study Break just taps creatures and then I can learn. Guiding Voice, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Stone Spirit was a flyer, and for 4 I could exile a card from my graveyard to give something flying until end of turn. Lash of Malice, target creature gets +2/+2, -2 until end of turn. Star Pupil, it enters with a +1/+1 counter on it. You can move that around when it dies. Humiliate, target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it. That player discards that card. Put a +1/+1 counter on a creature you control. Pillar Drop Rescuer was just another flyer that could give me another creature back. Clever Lumimancer had Magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery, it gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Leech Fanatic, as long as it's your turn, Leech Fanatic has lifelink, which I believe means that this would have lifelink while this has lifelink.
I'm sorry, what is it?
When it's your turn, it has lifelink.
Oh, okay.
So on my turn, this also has lifelink.
When you attack with it,
Yep. Professor's Warning, I can choose one, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, or I can make something indestructible until end of turn. More +1/+1 counters. This was a way of Mage Hunter's Onslaught. Destroy target creature or planeswalker, and whenever a creature blocks this turn, its controller loses 1 life. So I could do that in order to make your blockers hurt you. And Essence Infusion, put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature. It gains lifelink until end of turn. And Silver Quill Pledge Mage, Magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery, it gets your choice of flying or lifelink until end of turn. So a lot of this revolved around this card. So
which you happen to have in your second opening hand.
I'm so glad I had it in my second opening hand, because then you start giving it abilities by having other things come out on the battlefield that like make it better. Because it has vigilance anyhow, so that's good already. And then almost everything else in my deck was around like getting rid of your stuff or making your stuff hurt you and putting +1/+1 counters on my things and then moving those around. That was my deck.
So
and it worked.
I had several ways to get life gain.
Nice.
Lifelink on various cards.
Witherbloom is definitely
thing.
that's definitely a thing.
I also had several ways to look for lands. So I had a campus guide. When it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic land, reveal it, shuffle your library, and put it on top. That's actually part of a combo that I didn't get to do. I had an emergent sequence. Search your library for a basic land, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. And the land becomes a green and blue fractal creature.
Neat.
I had Field Trip. Search your library for a basic forest, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle and learn. An Adventurous Impulse, which is a mystical archive.
Pretty.
Look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature or land, put it into your hand.
I'm so glad I got to play my Demonic Tutor.
That was amazing. So the combo with putting a land on top of my deck is I had Kien, Dean of Substance.
That's right.
When you tap Kien, exile the top card of your library. If it's a land, put it into your hand. Otherwise, put a study counter on it.
Nice. Very nice.
So I could have put a land on top of my deck, tapped her to grab it.
Right. Neat.
And then I had things like Mortality Spear, good removal. It's a 2 black and a green to destroy target non-land permanent. Seems decent.
Yeah, that
Costs
seems great.
2 less if you gained life this turn.
Neat. And you
since
have
I've got a bunch of life link stuff,
yeah.
I had another Mystical Archive, Weather the Storm. You gain 3 life with Storm.
Oh.
It's a Storm
then.
card. So that would have been fun. I had my Moldering Karok, which has lifelink. Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah, it just didn't quite fire for
Well,
you. Your creatures didn't come out.
I kept a 5-land hand was my problem.
Yeah.
And then drew lands on 3 of the subsequent turns.
Ouch.
So I had a really good creature at the start.
But then you had nothing to support it with, really.
Exactly. I wasn't able to get anywhere with it.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
And then, you
I know
eventually
that
hit your
feeling.
removal. Is that what you tutored up? With Demonic Tutor?
I tutored up the squad.
Okay.
Because that was going to give Death Touch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I already had that in my hand. I had been holding that since turn 1, waiting to get rid of something that you were using. And as soon as you gave it flying, I was like, nope.
Yeah.
That's going away now.
Aww.
Because if you weren't giving it flying, then it wasn't blocking my, my attackers. As soon as you gave it flying, I was like, no.
No.
I was waiting for you to attack with it. I figured it's an instant, so if you attacked with it, that was going to be my removal to get rid of the attacker.
Yeah.
And then you didn't attack with it, and I was like, well, I'm going to swing out, and I've got you on board, so I might as well also get rid of it right now. I could have done it on your turn.
Your deck worked well, Amanda.
And let you know that what was coming,
Yeah. I think your deck was definitely good.
I'll see you at 10, Swoovy.
All right.
This was my sideboard.
Oh, your sideboard? Sure.
My sideboard. So, I had Unwilling Ingredient. It's a frog with menace. I didn't think it was really in flavor, and I had enough other creatures that I didn't think I needed it. But if I was finding I needed menace, like I was needing things to get through blockers, then it would have come in.
Yeah.
Another Inkling Summoning. I didn't think I needed 2. Novice Dissector. It's a troll warlock. It puts +1/+1 counter on it, but you have to sack another creature. And I was like, it's 4 to bring out. Most of my curve was very low. Most of my cards needed 3 or less to come out. Star Pupil, I already had one in the deck. Tenured Inkcaster, already had one in the deck. Elite Spellbinder. When it enters the battlefield, look at target opponent's hand. You may exile a non-land card from it. For as long as that card remains exiled, its owner may play it. A spell cast this way costs 2 more to cast. I was like, I don't know if that's really worth it. It's a 3/1. I don't know.
Yeah.
Cogwork Archivist. It's got reach. If you had had a ton of flyers and we had gone for a game too, I might have brought that in, but it comes in for 6.
Yeah.
So that's woof. Then I had a couple of lessons that I could have brought in. I did have 2 learn cards in there, so I could have brought these in. Or there's another lesson. So I could have brought those in if I had really wanted to. So I had Reduced Memory. Gives you a spirit token in exchange for something else.
Yep, you destroy something and I get a spirit instead.
Introduction to Annihilation. Exile target non-land permanent. Its controller draws a card. And Environmental Sciences. Search for a basic land. Put it on top. Put it in your hand. Shuffle. Gain 2 life. So I did have a couple of lessons that I could make use of if I had really wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Access Tunnel. Didn't think I really needed it.
Access Tunnel.
Archway Commons, again, I didn't think I really needed it. I was playing 2 colors,
Yeah.
And my color breakdown was pretty even. I counted the suns and the skulls, and I had like 11 of one and 12 of the other.
Nice.
So my mana breakdown with the campus was like, oh look, it's 8 and 8, easy, right? Promising Dusk Mage, I already had one. Silver Cool Pledge Mage, I already had one. Baleful Mastery, you may pay 1 and a black rather than pay the spell's mana cost. If the 1 and a black cost was paid, an opponent draws a card. Exile target creature or planeswalker. That seemed like a lot to get rid of something. Spectre of the Fens, flying, 5 and a black, target opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. I like I said, I had a lot of creatures. An Owlin Shield Mage. Wasn't sure how Ward worked. Ward, pay 3 life. Whenever this creature becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, counter it unless that payer pays 3 life. So the pay 3 life cost is the opponent. Right?
Yeah.
It's weird,
Yeah.
right? So I was like, no, I'm not going to play around with that. It costs 5 to bring out. I'm not dealing with that. I have other flyers to worry about. Beaming Defiance. Target creature you control gets +2/+2 and gains hexproof until end of turn. I wasn't sure how many combat tricks you were going to be playing, because you were playing black, and black does have a few ways to put things on other people's cards and make them not as good. So I was like, if I'm finding I'm having to deal with a lot of that, maybe that comes in useful. And then I had another one of these, Agonizing Remorse. Target opponent reveals their hand, you choose a non-land card from it or card from their graveyard, exile that card, you lose 1 life. So it's like, if there's something that you're bringing out or that you're flashing out, like something that's just being a real pain in my butt, then maybe I could get rid of it with that, but I didn't think it was going to be super, super useful.
Well, it was fun.
So yeah.
You had a deck that really fired off. Maybe I shouldn't have kept the hand that I kept.
Yeah. That's why I mulled.
I was on the draw, so I kind of figured I had a chance of drawing into good creatures and stuff.
I had 3 white creatures and 3 swamps.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I had the demonic tutor. And I was like, that's great that I have a demonic tutor. I do not want to waste a demonic tutor on getting a swamp.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you want to keep these cards separate from the rest of our Strixhaven, or
no, I think we can fold these in now.
Now that we've had a chance to play game with them.
We've played with them, and they were really fun. I think Strixhaven is a really fun set. Everything I've seen of this set looks fun.
Yeah.
I was tempted to put red in and go Mardu,
Mardu.
because I had Crackle with Power as my promo card, and in a pre-release you can play with the promo card.
Yes, you can.
So I was thinking about it. I had Lorehold Command I could have put in. I had Blood Age General I could put in.
Yeah.
I had Pigment Storm. I had Academic Dispute. Stonebound Mentor. Make Your Mark. Fuming Effigy. Oh, there's another Inkling token. Another Academic Dispute, Illustrious Historian, Thrilling Discovery, Lorehold Pledge Mage, Enthusiastic Study, Grinning Ignis. Like, I could have gone with the 3 and been like, I'm taking classes in both Lorehold and Silverquill. Which is 100%
Double Major. I feel like Double Major is actually a card.
But that's definitely a librarian for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here I am doing, both history and talking.
So my sideboard, I had 3 Tangle Traps, which either deal 3 damage to a creature with flying or destroy target artifact at instant speed. Should have put one of those in, but I probably wouldn't have seen it. Had a couple of Quandrix Plex Mages, Leech Fanatics, Scurried Colony. Nothing great, which is why it ended up in my sideboard.
Do you want all of the these sleeved
Mystical
and
Archives?
rares sleeved?
Yeah, I'm going to sleeve up all the Mystical Archives. We also have all the stuff we opened today. So I'm going to do a little bit of sleeving. I'm going to put stuff away in our big box of Strixhaven. And yeah, I want to say that was a ton of fun. And I am loving this set.
This
and
set
I can't wait to play with it more.
This set is definitely a lot of fun. There's just a lot of fun card interaction in this set.
Yeah.
Which I really appreciate. It's always nice getting a set that has some good synergy.
Yeah.
And sometimes the synergy is very dependent on deck archetypes that I don't enjoy playing. Like, denial decks and being like, no, you don't get to play all these counters. What am I going to do with all these answers? But a deck that just, the things that happen are, okay, I'm going to put counters on things and then I have ways to play with that. I like being able to play with my deck.
Yeah.
And, have choices about what I do with it. I don't want to need to have this one card with this one other card to make it work. I want to be able to have options when, my cards are coming out. I want to be able to say, okay, I'll do this with this.
If you want to play Magic again on stream at some point,
yeah,
we have all 5 of the commander decks, which would be a slightly longer game, obviously.
Yeah.
We did
a lot of talking about the set prior, is the thing.
But even so, a commander game maybe isn't a Thursday night game. Maybe it's some other
Sunday
day stream.
Afternoon or something.
But we also have the challenger decks, which are the standard legal decks that came out a couple weeks ago. And I wouldn't mind testing some of those out.
We could do that.
So yeah, we might do more Magic on stream at some point. We might get some new games. I was going to say at the beginning of this stream, and then I got distracted. Because I have gotten my second shot, we are probably going to be able to stream from Battleground Games and Hobbies in Abington again sometime soon. And Travis...
Yeah, I don't know if I'm entirely comfortable being maskless indoors.
Okay, I mean, yeah. If not, then we'll wait.
You're still supposed to wear a mask indoors, even if you are vaccinated, because it's not 100%.
Okay.
And also, there's no way to tell that someone is actually vaccinated, so it models good behavior.
I appreciate that.
But yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll see what the state looks like.
Yeah, John is not vaccinated yet, but Travis is getting his
all.
second on the 6th, I think he said.
Yeah. I'm going to wait until John is fully vaxxed before I feel
totally agree with that.
Playing live games.
But it would be cool to get together with friends and play again. We'll be there soon. It's going to happen, folks. We're going to get an opportunity to play with friends. In the meantime, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
This was so much fun and so interesting, and I love, love, love this set.
Yeah, this set is a lot of fun.
It's hilarious. And I love the Mystical Archive. I can't believe you got to use the Demonic Tutor. That was, wow.
I was like, there, I have made my game. Andy could pull out some giant creature right now and just crush me. And I got to do a Demonic Tutor, and that was fun. That's why I am at least partially a Timmy.
Yeah.
I played my Demonic Tutor.
All right. Thanks for joining us, folks. If you want to listen to Amanda read a story, she will be over on her channel, twitch.tv/MerrimanLion.
Lion with a Y.
In about 3/4 of an hour.
Just about.
And tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, I will be painting on my stream. That's twitch.tv/Thanatos. And yeah, that should be a lot of fun. I'm really, really close to being done with the figures that I'm working on, and I can't wait to finish them and have them ready for the table. So, getting close. Have a wonderful evening, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Good night.
Have fun playing games.